So let us start. If you remember, in the last class, we had discussed about the questionnaire method of our mm, research method, and as well as what type of materials can be used when a person who is using the methodology as a questionnaire method. So we had discussed all these things. Today we are going to discuss our uh, the research writing, how we can start writing of the research. So we had discussed, if you remember, we had discussed about okay, I am audible.
Yes, sir.
So, yes, yes. So, we are going to start research writing as well as what type of structure of the thesis will be. It depends upon university to university what type of contents of the research can be arranged, and then we will discuss that how a style of writing can be adopted. So, if you remember, we have already discussed that what is research, what are the types of the research. Then we had discussed about the selections of the material. Then we had discussed that what are the methods of the selecting of a research methodology. And we had discussed all analytical, qualitative, quantitative method, then sampling method, the questionnaire method. So we had discussed all about these things. Now it comes about the discussions related with the research writing. So we had also in the beginning we had discussed that there are 7 to 8 stages altogether when a research scholar is registered for the PhD course. Then what are the 7 or 8 stages we had discussed in the beginning also in a very brief manner. So if you remember, the first step was the identify the research problem, then the research questions, and there are some sub research questions also, and then select the research strategy in which includes about the research methodology, and then the next step is prepare a research plan that how you are going to make a synopsis of your research proposal, how you are going to make a plan. We had discussed then selections of the materials or the gather the data, then analyze, interpret, and validity, and prepare the research report, and then lastly finding the result of your thesis. So these are the stages through which we have to start or finish our research thesis. So first of all, first, second, and third, these are called as preliminary research activities. The, the identify the research problem, establish research questions, and select the research strategy. So these are the preliminary stages or activities related with the research scholar who is supposed to get registered for the PhD course. And after that, he has, whenever he is registered for PhD course, then he has to make a research plan, and then from here it starts the next stage. So see, writing the fourth, seventh, and eighth, prepare research plan, and the seventh is the prepare the research report, and the last, that is the disseminating the results. These are the portions which are related with the writing of a research report, research paper, or research thesis, or the dissertation of MPhil or the PhD course. So these are the stages. So let us discuss one by one that how we have to start the things, and how we have to make a research plan, and how a research scholar presents himself for the dissertations or the thesis writing. First of all, there is a research proposal writing, academic thesis structure, writing guidelines, bibliographic styles, research paper writing, publication process, and good research. These are the stages we will discuss one by one. That first is called as a research proposal writing. How a research scholar is prepared to make a proposal for the research for which he is going to register for the PhD course or MPhil course, and how he has to write down. So see, there are some of the proposal, you can say, stages, and how, and all this. Whenever you are going to make a research plan, it means that there are three activities or the functions which are supposed to get involved with a research scholar. That is the intention, specificity, and adequacy of the methods. Research scholar is must determined to complete his research proposal or research thesis also. Until unless a research scholar is not determined to complete his PhD for the sake of getting research fellowship or any ornamental degree, a research scholar is not going to complete his PhD. So he must be determined that I have to complete my PhD. So his intention must be clear that for what purpose he is going to get registered. Then there will be a specific purpose for getting research also, and then there are some research methodology which must be clear to research scholar. कबीर जी म्यूट कर कबीर जी म्यूट कर लीजिए अपना. So here we are going to research proposal, that how research proposal, research scholar disposes himself for the making research proposal. What is research proposal? A research proposal is an argument that explains the logic of the study to an audience of non-experts. We have already seen that research is the scientific investigation of the materials which are available to us. And there is a new invention in the sense of interpretations or understanding of the concepts in a different manner. We have discussed already that what is the research. So here research proposal is an argument. You are making yourself a defense of your research thesis that explains the logic of the study to an audience of non-experts. The persons who have not knowledge of that subject, you are going to explain all those things. Here an explanation. What is the research proposal? That it is an explanation refers to justification of the research. Whenever you are going to make a research proposal, you have to write down about the justification of the topic. For what purpose you are going to select this topic also. A proposal refers to the subject matter of the study. Here, when you are going to make a research proposal, it means that you are going to explain the contents or the matters of the subject related for what purpose you are selecting for your research. Then research proposal is a term non-experts refers to readers who may not be knowledgeable in the specific area of the proposed study. If a research scholar investigates the things which are not clear or which are not knowledgeable to other non-experts persons. So this is the research proposal for which you are going to make. Research proposal also makes that how does the proposed research study has considered the available knowledge through literature and is informed by it. We have already seen that analytical study of any concept or the some thoughts or the ideas. It is explanation in another way or interpretations in a different manner based upon the materials which are available to us. So that is the research proposal that it shows that how does the proposed research study has considered the available knowledge through literature and is informed by it. Viability and relevance of the research is justified. We have seen that you have to write down and you have to make justification for the study of this subject or the concept or explanation of any concept or the ideas or the theories. Research proposal also give strengths and limitations of the approach are clearly stated. In the research proposal, you have to make a limitations of the study also. You have to make an boundary of your areas in which you are going to explain your study. Then all the ethical issues are waked up that you are not going to copy from any ideas or the thoughts available to us, but the ethical issues, pluralism, which has become one of the major burning subjects for research writing. Research proposal also shows that fair amount of original findings are expected at the end of research. At the last, you have to make it clear in the research proposal that how original findings are expected. It has not come out, but it is expected at the end of the research based upon the research methodology which you are going to make. And all the ethical issues are also related with the primary sources and the secondary sources which you are going to make. Generally, it is considered as a research proposal must be around 8,000 words in the length, but sometimes 5,000 to 800 is considered as a standard length of our research proposal. A pilot study, generally a research paper is also supposed to be 3,000 to 5,000, but here research proposal it may be around 5,000 to 8,000 words. It must not go. And it is related with all the aspects, justification of the topic, what are the aims and objectives, then research methodology and the sources and the findings, all and the bibliography, primary sources and the secondary sources, it must come around 5,000 to 8,000 words. So pilot research, based research proposal is most welcome. Here pilot is sometimes not 8,000 word, but the working research proposal that contains 3,000 to 5,000 words may be also taken for the research proposal. So here, what are the elements of the research proposal? So how a research scholar, we have already discussed that what are the elements of the research. If you remember in the beginning, we had discussed about the elements of the research that includes about the investigation of the truth, then explanation of the truth, and then we had discussed about there must be Abhinav Chintanam, that there must be explanation of the new concepts or the ideas, and it must be excellence in the explanation. And then we have discussed that it must have the quality to penetrate into the nature of the subject concerned. So these are the elements of the research. But here, research proposal, when we are going to make a proposal for that, it must conclude like, see, there are three stages. If you the summary and the contents. First of all, we have to write down about the a statement of the problem. What are the research problems? Then you have to make a statement of the research problem. Then what are the research objectives of the research? Why you are going to select this topic for your research? Then you have to write down about the literature review, that what the books, primary sources and the secondary sources have been written on this book, and what are the gaps of the knowledge which have not taken care by our previous scholars. So we have to make that on this topic, how many books have been written down and what the concepts have been explained by the scholars. So you have to make a critical review, not in a very positive manner, but if you do not agree with those concepts, then you have to make a critical statement in the literature review also. And then why this topic of the research is relevant or significant in the present time, related with the society, nation, or the state. So why this research is significant or relevant, or why this topic is important for the present time, you have to write down in your research proposal. Then you have to make a research design, that what type of research is design. It can includes about the research methodology, which type of research methodology you are going to, qualitative method or quantitative method or sampling method or questionnaire methods. So you have to make a design of your research also. And then what are the collections of the research materials? So you have to discuss about it, and what type of expected results of the research of your findings will be, or results or the findings of the your research will be. So you have to write down in that research proposal. Then personal and the internal resources. What are the your sources of the collections of the research materials? What whether you are going to appoint some of the persons related with the research project, and what will be the internal resources like laboratory and other scientific laboratory which are meant for the collecting the research materials. And then what is the budget? And then you have to make a limitations of the time. So you have to make it that how much time, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you are going to make for writing of the research thesis. Then what are the facilities which are available in the university or the institution or the department for writing of this research research topic for the Ph.D. Then what are the management, like supervisor and the supporting staff of the department? What type of management you are having? Then bibliography. Then if the things are available, you can give appendix, the which are not directly related with your research chapters, but it may be connected with our research topic and then special requirements. So related with the these are elements which are related with the making research proposal. So see here, activities listed in the red are considered essential. So those which are in the red, like problem statement, research objectives, literature review, importance of the study, research design, data analysis, form of results, schedule, facilities, and bibliography. These are considered for uh, essential things for making research proposal. And those which are in green, they are necessary for funding submission. That if you are getting fund from any institutions like Indian Council of Cultural Relations, Indian Council of Social Science Research, Indian Council of Philosophical Research, or Indian Council of Historical Research. There are so many funding agency, Institute of Archaeology, related with the humanities and our social science. So if you are getting funds related with personnel to be appointed for collecting the research materials, it is necessary for if you get it. And title of the PhD thesis is usually frozen on proposal approval. If the research proposal is being accepted by the board of the research or DRC, Departmental Research Committee, then the title will be finalized with the suggestions of the supervisor as well as members of the committee. So this is the elements of the research proposal. So let us discuss that what are the literatures which are related with our making research proposal. So, for what purpose we are going to make a research plan or research proposal? So, purpose is for making distinction what has been done from what needs to be done. So, we have seen that literature review, that what the books which have been written on this topic and what are the concepts or the topics which have been discussed in that book and which topics which have not been discussed, what are the literature which have not been discussed, and what is the gap of the knowledge, and what are the scope for things which are meant for the scope of the study. So for that it is called as a literature review or making research proposal, discovering important variables relevant to the topic. Whenever you are making a plan for research proposal, we have to get or discover important variables relevant to the topics, related with the topics, whatever the materials which are available, you have to make investigations of that, and then synthesizing and gaining a new perspective. If you are getting the materials, you have to synthesize the materials, and then you have to get a new perspective of the subject or the topic. Then identifying relationship between ideas and the practices. We have already seen that Buddhism is nothing but it is a thought and practice. Thought means pariyatti and practice means that is the patipatti. That the teachings of the Buddha are meant for the pariyatti, and how the teachings of the Buddha can be applied in our day-to-day life through the meditations, through the concentrations, how the concepts or the thoughts or the theories related with the Buddhism can be applied in our day-to-day life. This is called as patipatti or the practice. So, what is the relations between the pariyatti and the patipatti? That is the teachings of the Buddha and how the teachings of the Buddha can be applied in our day-to-day life. So we have to identify that how the relations between the thoughts and the practices are available. Then we have to make a establishment the context of the topic or the research. Whenever we are making the research problem, then we have to make a that if related with the research topic or problem, what type of topic can be selected with that research proposal, and then rationalizing the significance of the problem. Then we have to see that whether the research problem which has some of the research questions also, what are the significance of those research questions related with the research problem. We have to make a rational of those significance also. Then we have to identify the main methodology and research techniques that have been used. We have to see that what type of research methodology which have been used by previous scholar in explaining or in interpreting the thoughts or the ideas or the theories or related with the Buddhism. Then we have to see that what type of research techniques can be also applied in this research topic or proposal for which a research scholar is supposed to do. So, what will be the research proposal and what is the model for a research proposal? So, it differs from university to university. It also differs from institutions to institutions also. A university adopts that what type of research proposal can be adopted. Here in Lumini Buddhist University, Faculty of Buddhist Studies has also adopted some of the methodology that a research scholar has to present the abstract or the research proposal on the basis of the guidelines given by our research board of the Lumini Buddhist University. So this is the first of all you have to give an introduction of the subject related with your research, then research problem, what are the existing literatures or the gaps in the existing research. Whenever there are research problem, there are research questions also. And when there are questions, there are sub questions also. And based upon that, what type of research materials which are available as a sources, primary sources or secondary sources, and what are the gaps of the knowledge of those research we have to make, and it also needs continuous study related with the literature review. A research scholar is supposed to make an investigations related with the literature, that what type of literatures which are available and what type of concepts or the ideas or the thoughts which have been explained or interpreted by our previous scholars, and what are the gaps of the knowledge which are still remaining. So they have to identify that what is the purpose of the study of that research. You have to make it, and then research questions, then methods and the procedures, what type of research methods which are like qualitative method, quantitative method, then sampling method, questionnaire method, textual method. We have discussed in a very detailed manner. And then what are the why you are selecting this research methodology, you have to make a justification of that also. Then you have to make a research strategy, that which type of research methodology you are going to do. Then research design, sample design, and selection procedure, selections of the methods of the research, beside nirvachanam, selections of the topic also, selections, what are the methods of the collecting the research methodology, we have to make here methods of the data collections. Here, a research scholar is to give explanations that what type of methodology you are going to adopt for collecting the research materials, and then what are the data analysis and the quality issues. Then what are the ethical issues related with the plagiarism or copying of the ideas from any book or the thesis? There must be indication of that. And what are the expected findings of the research? Why this research proposal is significant to the society, to the nation, to the state? You have to make this topic is relevant for the promotion of the social, economic, cultural uh, aspects of any state or the nation or the country also. Then what will be the chapter scheme, preliminary pilot findings and earlier research, what are they are. Then you have to make that in how many years you are going to complete it. You have to make a schedule of your whole research program. Then what will be the proposed budget and preliminary list of the references, primary references, and the secondary sources. So this model may differ from university to university, institutions to institutions. Every university adopts a method, a research proposal for the research scholar, how a research scholar makes a plan for the research. So he has to ask the university administrations based upon the guidelines he has to present himself. So here, how a research scholar moves towards the completion of the thesis. This is the table through which we can understand that first of the 2 months, these are activities related with the topic selections. A research scholar tries to move, and this research methodology course is meant for 1 year. After the successful completion of this research methodology course, then it comes to the research scholar for the selections of the topic. Now, a research scholar tries to select a topic with the consultation of the supervisor, and it takes at least 2 3 months for the selections of the topic. Then literature search related with the topic also, it consists 4 months. If you see the table, if you understand, try to understand it. And this literature search is not only for 4 months, but it will be continued till your completion of the thesis also. So it is a continuous process to go through the literature related with your topic also. So that is why the dots are given in other also, that in the coming 2 months you have to also you have to get associated with the literature search also, and it will be continued. But for making research proposal and to start, at least 4 months are necessary for making a plan. Then literature review, if you see research proposal, it also includes the 4 months, but it will be continued till your completion of the thesis also. Then data collections, it starts after 2 months when the topic is selected. Then you can start for the collecting of research materials. Research material does not end till the, you can say, 4 months or 6 months. It is also a continuous till your submission of the thesis also. And then data analysis, it starts from the 6 months to that whatever the materials which have been collected, you have to make a analytical study of those materials. And the last 2 months for the validity of the research questions for your research proposals, as well as how you are going to interpret those ideas or the concepts. You have to make it. And then the last 2 months, it is for the report writing also. So this is the, you can say, table through which one can understand all these things. What are the general guidelines for a research scholar for making a research proposal? So let us discuss one by one, that try to make the design of the study and methods as explicit, clear, and detailed as possible. First of all, we have to make a proposal of the research that is meant for your uh, title of the research for the topic also. And it must also indicate the methods, research methodology, and it must be clear, pinpointed also, and as much as it may be detailed explanation of that. So try to give as possible for a research scholar to make a design of the study. Then it also depends that what type of research questions you are going to frame your research proposal or research topic also. And what are the hypotheses? Hypothesis, we have already seen that it is the solution of the research problems. So if there are questions related with the research, there must be some solutions also. So this solutions it must be well articulated with suitable descriptions also. Then implications of the research should be placed in their academic and practical context. What type of research you are going to do and the findings, whether it is relevant to the academic uh, world of the Buddhist studies, and whether they are applied in our day-to-day life, or what are the practical things which are related with that. So it must be explained also. Ethical precautions and procedures should be well discussed related with the plagiarism, or that taking the ideas of any another one, writing in your own name. These must be avoided, and there must be precautions related with these. So generally in the university, if you are a student for PhD course, there are some structure of the thesis. We had discussed about the research proposals. We had discussed that what are the guidelines of the making research proposals. Now we are going to discuss the what type of structure of the thesis will be, how the contents, which starts from the first page, cover page, till the end of the bibliography. It also differs from university to university. University also makes guidelines for adopting the structure of the thesis also. But generally, title of the cover or the cover page, whenever you are, it is printed also. It is hardbound also, but now the postage cost is very high. So generally, hard copies are avoided. Nowadays, there is a trend after Corona that only soft copies are being sent to the examiners, external examiners, for evaluation of the thesis also, or evaluation of the thesis. So here, generally on the cover page, the title should be 12 to 16 words, not more than that. And there not to be repetitions of the word also. So title must in reflect what are the contents of the thesis which you are going to discuss. Then in bottom of the cover page, there must be clear indication that who is going to submit the thesis, the name of the researcher scholar as a author, month and year of the submission of the thesis, and the name of the department or the faculty or the name of the university must be indicated like this. After the cover page, there comes the preliminary pages like certificates related with the supervisor. The candidates also gives himself the declaration of the thesis that I have written this thesis based upon the materials available from and the ideas which have not been taken from any book or the things. So certificates given by the head of the institutions or the head of the departments or the supervisors, they are included here. So after that cover page, it gives, then it comes acknowledgement. The candidates also write about the persons from where, from whom he has taken the help related with his such a scholar. So he has to write down the acknowledgements, and it must be selective also, not each and every one, but some of the persons. Then after the preliminary pages, the table of contents. After the certificates and the acknowledgement, it comes the contents page. On the contents page, if you see the writing chapter's name and the title, selections, a heading, subsections, a headings, references, appendixes, these are written here. So, see, generally there are libraries instructions based upon the MLS system or APS systems. There is also guidelines for writing down the chapters also. In if in the one chapter there are so many sub chapters also, then how it can be arranged 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. Generally, it must not be 5 to 6. And again, in 1.1, there are some subsections also or subheadings also. Then it also gives 1.1.1. So, like that, there are some guidelines for making the chapters subsection headings also, and then references means bibliography. Then you have to give appendixes and the annexures. And then lastly, there are table of contents. If you are giving the tables, then you have to give the page number and the captions also, and then list of the figures. Lastly, if you have illustrations of any art and any images, you have to give in the last with the numbers, and in the bottom you have to write down the captions also. What does it includes? Then in the preliminary pages, if you have glossary of the terms in one line, generally people give it. Sometimes in the book, we also find that at the end of the book, before the bibliography, persons gives the glossary of the technical terms. But in the thesis, generally it is supposed that after contents page, there are some glossary of the terms, the definitions, and the acronyms. It is not optional and compulsory, but it is optional. If you wish to explain some of the technical words, you can explain in one or two sentences, not more than that, because the persons those who are more interested for those terms, they can go inside the thesis also. And even if you are making a research paper also, in the beginning you have to write down the abstract, and then lastly you have to write down the keywords also. So here, because the research paper is supposed to complete within 10 pages, not more than 3,000. So it is not supposed to explain those terms in the abstract also. But here it is supposed that if you have some of the terms to be explained in a very brief manner, you have to write down. Then summary of the thesis, contents of each chapter in brief. So it depends upon the style of or guidelines of the university also, how it can be, whether what is the order of the writing of the summary of the chapters also. So there are generally 6 chapters in a thesis. You have to write down in a very brief manner here in that pages also. Then chapter one, introduction, subject background, thesis topic background, motivation for selecting of the topic or the problems, broad definitions of the problem, or related with the introduction chapter. Sometimes we have seen that in some of the universities like Delhi University or Jawaharlal Nehru University, literature review comes under the introduction part, that is the chapter one. So in some of the universities, literature review is given as a separate chapter also. So it depends upon the guidelines of the research committee of the university concerned or the university departments also. So here literature review under this section or the chapter, we have to give the organized according to either authors or geography or chronology or the variables. Give your critical evaluation to show the state of the knowledge, the gaps, and the directions you would take. In the journals, we see that book reviews are also given, but that book review is given in a general manner. The whole contents of the chapter related with the book in the journal it is given. But here, the topic which you have selected for your research topic, sorry, research thesis, you have to analyze those concepts or the ideas which are directly related with your thesis also. So in the literature view, you have to be very specific. Otherwise, it will be too long also. But here, within half pages or the one pages, you have to make a review of the one book here related with your research topic only. In which chapter it has been discussed and in what way, what is the gap of the knowledge, what are the scope of the research there, and you have to make a specific here also. Then scope of the work, problem statement, precise definitions, subdivisions of the problem, corresponding hypothesis formulations, if applicable. So here you have to make down what is the scope of your research. Then you have to make a statement of the research problem, then subdivisions of the problem, then hypothesis. It comes related with the solutions of the research problems, and then what type of research methodology you are going to discuss related with that, then possible approaches, justification of the selected approach, operational aspect of the approach. So generally, research methodology, which type of research methodology you are going to apply in your research thesis, you have to make justification of that. Then data collections comes, sampling frame, how you are going to frame your collections of the materials. Sampling procedure, it is one of the method of the research method. Outline of the instruments used, questionnaire, interview schedule. So which type of you are going to use for the collections of the research materials, you have to write down here. whether it is a literature based or qualitative method or quantitative method. You have to make it clear here also. So then it comes analysis, how you are going to analyze all these data which have been collected related with your research topic. Then discussions or how you are analyzing your data. You have to make a discussion of that, and lastly, the final findings or the result of your thesis also. Then lastly comes the references. So here all the quoted works to be listed. We'll discuss the bibliography in a separate class also. That what type of APA, American Psychological Association, MLA system, and Chicago Manual. These three are very popular and they are being used in making the references or the bibliography. So all quoted works to be listed use a standard style like APS system or MLA system or Chicago manual. Journal works be given separately as bibliography if large in number. Then follow prescribed style for citing the web-based works. So here use original works, then latest works, and do not miss any important works. Examiners are particular about the thesis aspect. So research scholar is supposed to have the knowledge of the what are the latest journals related with the research topics are available. Try to go through the original sources, original research materials, and do not suppress any new outcome of the research book or the journals, because those who are going to make a evaluation of the thesis, they are very much particular about the topic also and findings of the result also. So was must be related with that. So lastly, there will be appendixes and the annexures, one for each aspect. So full questionnaire, interview schedule, whatever you are having. Then secondary table, table, maps, then other supporting documents like newspaper clippings, brochures, and leaflets. You have to include as an annexure at the end of the thesis also. Then technical notes about methodology, if you have, it is not optional. It is not compulsory, but it is optional. You can give the technical notes, any other information that may have some bearing on the work reported. So if you have any information related with your research topic, you can give it in the last. So let us finish here. Then this is the related with the, we have discussed about the structure of the thesis. Then in the next class tomorrow, we'll discuss about the writing guidelines, that how the research proposal can be written down. So I think we have, it is 9:36. So let us finish here because most of the persons may be joining their office today. So if you have any question, you can ask. We can discuss for a few minutes if you have any questions. Otherwise, tomorrow we can discuss about the guidelines related with the writing of the research proposals. So if you have any question, you can ask.
Good morning, sir. Namaste.
Namaste. Good morning.
The introduction chapter.
Mm.
Can we give? Is it necessary to give the work citation, or not necessary as well?
Work citations, not in the introduction, not there is no need of giving a references in the introduction.
Yeah, yeah.
Generally, I have seen in Delhi University or JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University or other universities, the introduction chapter and the conclusion chapters, they are
Yeah.
not the part of the thesis. So generally, it starts in the contents like introduction. Then after the introduction, chapter one, the main your structure of the thesis starts from the chapter one. And chapter one does not include the introduction also. So from there and the conclusion also, altogether there are 6 chapters, and there are main 4 chapters, which are the main body of the structure of the thesis. And introductions, generally people give the justifications of the topic, aims and objectives, then hypothesis, research methodology, and what type of the research chapters you are going to discuss, then findings, and there is no need of writing references in the introductory chapters, because you are again repeating the same thing at the end of your thesis also. If you are giving the end of the thesis, there is no need of writing. So all the universities have their own guidelines for writing the structure of the thesis. So, as per since you are the research scholars of alumni with this university, you can gather information related with the guidelines of the research proposals. I think you can request our Kabirji. He has the guidelines of our alumni with this university, that how a person is going to make the research proposal also. And
So,
based upon that, you can structure this thing.
so we have already provided the guidelines.
Okay, so I have given the general guidelines in which all the universities can adopt, but you have to follow the instructions or the guidelines of our alumni with this university. Any question if you have?
Namaste, namaste, sir.
Namaste. Namaste.
I have some inquiries, but time is already gone. It takes more time. So, may we talk by ending tomorrow some issues by ending the class before 10 minutes? Sir?
Okay. Before beginning of our main class, we can discuss some of the things. Then we can start our guidelines related with the writings. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir. Thank you, sir. Today's time is
Okay. Thank
already gone,
you.
so I am requesting
Okay.
you to end.
Tomorrow
Yes.
we will discuss in the beginning, and then we can again start our classes.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Take care. Have a nice day.
Namaste and namaste all.
Namaste.
Namaste, sir. Thank you.
Namaste. Goodbye.